Pokemon Legends Arceus just came out and there's a ton to do in this game. It's unlike any other Pokemon game we've had before, and as someone who's avoided spoilers and didn't even watch every single trailer leading up to this game, I went into this game not really knowing what to expect. In this video, I want to catalog my first 20 hours playing Legends Arceus, show you guys what I've done, and of course, beat the main story. I figured 20 hours would be enough to beat this game since I can typically beat a regular Pokemon game in around that time. I first did this challenge with 100 days in Pokemon Crystal after seeing it become a popular Minecraft trend, and it seems like this trend's becoming pretty popular in Pokemon too, which is great. I streamed some of this gameplay live on Twitch as well, so follow me over there, linked in the description for more Pokemon gameplay, and now let's hammer away at Pokemon Legends Arceus. The game starts out and I wasn't really sure what was going on. I may have been distracted from the breakfast I was eating, a delicious egg and cheese bagel accompanied by a nice caramel iced coffee, but we sort of traveled back in time or something thanks to Arceus that also transformed our phone. I'm sure more will be explained later though, right? The first person we meet in this new world is Professor Laventon of the Galaxy Corps, who, like other professors, is named after a tree and wants kids to help him out complete the Pokedex. He's nice enough to help us out a bit and give us a place to stay. Shortly after that, the professor takes us to the Jubilite village where the people are less than welcoming. I guess it's fair since we're a stranger who fell through some mysterious time portal dressed in some weird clothes they've never seen before. So why would they trust me in the first place? We meet some important characters here like Hikari, who suspiciously looks a lot like Dawn, Captain Silene, who is very cold to us, and this guy with the green mustache who really likes cooking potato mochi. They all reluctantly accept us in this village, and also we get a starter Pokemon from the professor. I really like how this game used 3 old starters from different generations, making it seem like you have 3 options, but we all know there's really just one option, and that's Oshawott. After exiting the Survey Corps building, we are met by a traveling merchant of the Ginkgo Guild named Volo who suspiciously looks very familiar. He challenges us to a battle with his lone Togepi that we lay waste to in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. The professor and Hikari then take us out to Aspiration Hill to teach us the basics of catching Pokemon, which is the main means of progression in this game, unlike in other traditional Pokemon games where you're meant to get badges. It's a nice blend between how you catch Pokemon in the Let's Go games and in Pokemon Sword and Shield, as you see wild Pokemon just roaming about and can engage with them in a battle with your Pokemon, or just throw a Pokeball at them when they're not looking. In order to properly fill out the Pokedex though, we must get as many Pokemon as we can to research level 10 by completing various tasks for each Pokemon, like catching multiples of each Pokemon, defeating them multiple times in battle, or seeing them go for a specific move, which are the most common tasks. After learning the basics of catching Pokemon and catching some Pokemon of our own, we report back to Captain Silene, who says she won't leave us out to die, the nicest thing anyone said to us so far, and then she makes fun of our clothes and gives us a Survey Corps outfit so we fit in more with the Hisui people. Upstairs from Captain Silene's office, we meet Commander Commando, who is the one that tasks us with various missions throughout the Hisui region, in order to investigate some mysterious Pokemon that were struck by lightning we'll get to soon. The very first mission we're tasked to is to gain official entry into the Galaxy team and prove our worth to the Survey Corps. We also learn how to craft Pokeballs and meet this nice gentleman guarding this building who wants us to catch a cute little Wurmple for him, so we should be sure to catch one. I found this a bit weird since most people here, especially at the start of the game and especially the commander, are scared of Pokemon and we seem to be at odds with them. You don't see many Pokemon at all in the village at the start, and we see this more in the fields where many Pokemon attack us, including alpha Pokemon which are much stronger, meaner, and have red eyes. This is a lot different from modern Pokemon games where all Pokemon are pretty much friendly towards you, and nearly everybody has a Pokemon. This passes us through the first hour mark, and next I spend some time catching some more Pokemon for our decks to improve our star rating, which is needed to unlock certain areas in the game. I rush the first alpha Pokemon I see, which is an alpha Rapidash at level 40, and get destroyed by it, but I did catch a Shinx, which is a Pokemon I held on to for quite some time in this game. Legends Arceus is a game where you can easily shuffle out new party members pretty easily as you progress through the game, due to the high level of wild Pokemon and how many ways there are to gain EXP, compared to traditional Pokemon games where you typically just catch maybe 7 or 8 Pokemon and that's all you use. After finally completing enough tasks in our Pokédex to have Captain Silene give us our first star, we celebrate with some potato mochi that the people here seem to love, and of course start to be a bit more accepted among the Galaxy members. No one is telling us to go out on our own and die anymore, but they still seem a bit sus of us. I of course got a worm before our friend, which he named Eugene. Akari then decides to battle us since we seem to have a strong affinity towards Pokemon. And look, she has a Pikachu. I expected her to just have one of the other starters we didn't pick, but the game takes this time to introduce us to Captain Zissou and explain how battling works in this game as well as type matchups. Legends Arceus introduced strong style moves and agile style moves to make battling quite different. Strong style moves make your move a bit stronger but allow your opponent to attack you multiple times in a row after, typically just twice in a row, and agile style moves make your moves a bit weaker, use up more PP, but can also be used to attack twice in a row. I don't really fully understand how these mechanics work, but I pretty much just use strong style moves when I wanted to take out a Pokemon, and agile style moves when I was trying to catch a Pokemon since they were weaker moves. When we return to the Obsidian Fieldlands with our 1 star, we can now pass this bridge and pass the 2-hour mark. We also meet Mai and her Munchlax Pokemon that she says she grew up with like a brother, which is a bit strange. We have a quick battle against her and our ARC phone rings. Yeah, forgot to mention much about this, but we basically have an iPhone with Google Maps in the past that nobody else is really questioning since our Pokédex is pretty much just a piece of paper. It eventually leads us to the Great Weirdeer, which takes a liking to us and helps us gain some more trust from other people in the region, most notably Adamant and Irida, who are the leaders of the Diamond and Pearl clan respectively. We return to the village to see them arguing a lot, which they tend to do. They both worship this being called Sinnoh, and as you can expect, the Diamond clan says how Sinnoh represents time, and the Pearl clan says how Sinnoh represents space. I wonder how those two could possibly be related. Kamado then tells us about this Pokemon called Kleavor that seems to be acting up and has a huge yellow glow to it. Other Survey Corps members were unable to quell it, so why not send us, the new guy who nobody fully trusts that randomly fell out of the sky, to investigate this since who cares if we die too. Kleavor is located in a different part of the Obsidian Fieldlands that I journey to and catch a bunch of Pokemon along the way for the dex. We eventually meet Leon, also of the Pearl clan, who is posted out near where Kleavor is. He challenges us to a battle to see if we're worthy, and to my surprise, he had a Goomy. I don't know where you can catch Goomy in this game, and I would like to find one, although I don't. But it is cool to see a Dragon-type Pokemon like this so early on in the game, since Dragon-type Pokemon aren't very common. Leon then tells us how Kleavor was struck by this mysterious bolt of lightning, causing him to go berserk, and believes it could have been done by the almighty Sinnoh, although he doesn't know why. We report back to the professor and have to go to the Gartree Hill to fight Kleavor all by ourselves. I ride over there on our trusty Weirdeer that allows us to ride him now, and then Irida decides to battle us to see if we're ready to take on Kleavor, and once defeating her, we head in to fight Kleavor all by ourselves at about the 3-hour mark. I thought this boss fight was pretty cool since it involves us throwing these bags called bombs at Kleavor to weaken it, which are made from its favorite foods. I don't really understand how or why this works or why throwing its favorite food at it makes it calm, but at certain points we can also send out our regular Pokemon to battle it, and of all Pokemon on my party, this random Psyduck that I just caught for the Pokedex fares best against Kleavor, doing the most damage to it out of anything else on our team. Once defeating it, we get the Insect Plate as a reward from Kleavor. We also got this Mind Plate from Weirdeer earlier on too, although we didn't fight Weirdeer, and in this game the plates are key items since they have something to do with the lore behind Arceus. I thought maybe we could use them kind of similar to Z Crystals in Sun and Moon, where they're sort of like key items you can give to Pokemon, but unfortunately we were unable to do that. I then report back to the commander, who is shocked that we were able to defeat Kleavor all by ourselves. He probably thought we would just die, and we gain a bit more of his trust. There's also this person here that we meet named Arazu, I'm probably butchering that pronunciation, Warden of the Diamond Clan, who specializes in haircuts, although she could probably use one for herself. Commander Silene then wants us to investigate the Crimson Mirelands for our Pokedex. However, we must be a 2nd star first to reach it. We're still only 1 star, so we have to go back to the Obsidian Fieldlands and catch some random Pokemon and fill out some more random Pokedex tasks to get the 2nd star. Doing this caused us to get near the 5-hour mark, as I did take my time exploring a bit. Then Silene tells us about this Pokemon called Ursaluna that lives in the Mirelands, and is expecting something similar to Kleavor to happen to it. At the time, I had no idea what an Ursaluna is until I saw it, although its name is very similar to Ursaring, so I probably should have guessed it was some sort of Hisuian Ursaring. We have another battle against Ikaria as we're leaving the village, who caught some more Pokemon and seems to be growing to like Pokemon more and more thanks to our help. This battle causes a lot of our Pokemon to evolve and takes us up to the Mirelands camp. There are a ton of new Pokemon here, like these annoying Parasas that you see all over Twitter, Carnivine, and many others. There's also this strange building that is the Silesian Ruins. We meet Kalaba here of the Pearl Clan inside, who tells us about somebody who stole part of this mural in the ruins. After a quick battle with Volo, who just randomly appears, we're told about the Misfortune sisters who stole it, and we must track them down. These three look very familiar too, and each challenge us to a battle. And after defeating them, we get the missing piece back and earn more trust from Kabbalah. I noticed that this game has a huge focus on getting people to trust you, and you can really feel it as the game progresses with how each NPC treats you from when you first interact with them to when you interact with them more and more. Kabbalah then meets us deep in the Mirelands where none other than Ursaluna lies, although unlike Kleavor, it isn't glowing. We have a regular Pokemon battle against it, and when we win, we can call upon it like we can with Weirdeer to ride it, and it acts like an item finder. I then catch some more Pokemon and do some more Pokedex tasks to level up our stars, including getting this Ghastly that I used quite a bit since it was now nighttime, and Ghastlies as well as Drifloons are very common at night. It ends up evolving to a Haunter, and I use it for a good chunk of the game. At roughly the 6-hour mark, we get enough to rank up our stars and get some Great Balls as a reward. Kumada then gives us our next task, which is to fight a Lilligant that is in a frenzy, which is also sacred to the Diamond Clan. I guess it's good that they trust us with these more important tasks now, but I also feel like they're just doing it because everyone else is too scared, especially after Kleavor basically just killed a bunch of Galaxy members. On our way there, we learn that Arzu is going after this Lilligant too because it is sacred to the Diamond Clan or whatever, but she ends up going missing. We're able to track her down by, get this, using Ursaluna to sniff out the potato mochi on her breath that she ate, leading us right to her. She ended up tripping and hurting herself, and Kabbalah helps her out as we keep going forward. When we reach Lilligant, I throw our Marsh Bombs with all of our might, dodge these rings it keeps emitting, and finally calm it down to see Hisu in Lilligant's true form, which I hadn't seen until I played this part of the game. I'm really glad I was able to avoid spoilers and see things like this as I first played through this game, because it made the game more exciting compared to a game like Sword and Shield where I saw most of the spoilers. I think this gets us close to the 7-hour mark, roughly. I really should have done a better job keeping track of hours while I played through the game, but I didn't. And when we return to the village, we meet Benny, the potato mochi guy, and he commends us on our skill and hard work to help out the Galaxy team. This is another example of the NPCs warming up to us. And then Gamato goes on this lecture about how Pokemon are terrifying and how he's prepared to make harsh decisions to protect the village, including kicking us out of the village, which makes me feel a bit less welcomed here, and I really hope this isn't foreshadowing. Commander Kamato then wants us to visit the Cobalt Coastlands, which he says has no noble Pokemon that will glow and attack us. I guess we'll see about that. Then Irida tells us how there used to be a lord there, but a tragedy took him away from us. I also got this Teddiursa somewhere around here, which is randomly really strong, and I hope it evolves into Ursaluna. I even have this Wormadam Trash Cloak on my team that fell out of this tree. How can you not love this game? I am still mostly just using my starter Duat and my Luxray at this time though, since they're my strongest Pokemon. While surveying the land, we come across Polina and her two Hisui and Growlithe. She tells us more about the previous noble Arcanine that died trying to save one of the Growlithes, and she is now tasked with protecting these two Growlithes. The Misfortunes then kidnap one of the Growlithes and go into the Fiery Island, which we can't get to just yet because we can't swim. Trust me, I tried by going into the water, thought I could swim for a second, and then just drowned. We need to be able to ride the back of a Basculogion, I don't think I'll ever be able to pronounce that correctly, in order to get across the water. First, to befriend this Pokemon, we need to make its favorite food, of course, and then catch a Dusclops to use Dark Pulse on the food, which I guess acts as some sort of seasoning or something, since it loves food that has been sprayed with a Dark Pulse. No idea how that makes sense, or if this was even a thing in previous Pokemon games. But this is easily my favorite rideable Pokemon in the game since we can do sick jumps in the water and reach the Fiery Island at just about the 8-hour mark. On my way through this island, I catch a Magmar, try to jump in the lava but can't, and meet the three sisters who kidnapped Growlithe so we can rescue it. The other Growlithe that was left behind even swims across the water to try to save this Growlithe, even though it was previously terrified of water, then gets really annoyed, evolves, and becomes the noble Pokemon that we have to fight, and I knew Komodo was wrong when he said there was no nobles here. The fight goes similarly to the Lilligant one, except this time instead of having a circle pattern to run down and throw bombs at it, it's more of a cross that limits our movement and makes it a bit harder since there's less room to run away from its attacks. After defeating it, it turns back to normal, and now that it's a noble, it stays on the island and is all grown up to protect it, just like its father did. We then report back to the Jubilite village and learn about this noble Electro that's causing havoc, and meet this Diamond Clan member named Melly with hair that just phases through his arms and really doesn't seem to like us. Melly has this theory that these noble Pokemon are being struck by lightning for a reason, we should just let them be, but more on that later. We then battle Adaman, and Silene asks us to go to her office where she tells us that we need to go to the Coronet Highlands next to fight this Electrode. As important as quelling this frenzied Electrode might be, we first have to take some time to raise 1-star rank for our Pokedex, so I go back to the Cobalt Coastlands to fill out more tasks, catch a lot of cool Pokemon like a Hisuian Growlithe, and I use my Magmar a lot here since many of the tasks involve using Fire-type moves on Fire-weak Pokemon. This takes us past the 9-hour mark and past the 10-hour mark even, since I didn't catch many Pokemon through this whole Growlithe journey, and I kinda realized the game works best if you complete these tasks along the way, rather than just doing them at the end like I just did. Silene then rewards us with our 4th star and gives us another Pokeball recipe, but I just use regular Pokeballs and Great Balls the whole game. After that we meet Irita and Ingo. Yeah, that Ingo from the battle subway in the Unova region. He's not just somebody who looks like Ingo, like how Volo looks like Cynthia and many other characters look like newer Pokemon characters. He's actually just straight up Ingo. He's a part of the Paro clan and fell out of the Space Rift like we did, but for some reason people are more trustworthy of him than they are us. He helps us out on the Coronet Highlands on our way to reach the Electrode fight, and even makes references to his partner Emmett from the battle subway, and his Pokemon Chandelure that he has. This takes us at around the 11-hour mark, and Melly ambushes us because he doesn't want us to get to Electrode and he wants the Pokemon to stay how they are. We defeat him in 2 shakes of a Stunky's tail, and make it through the ancient quarry, which is filled with many angry Bronzors. Our Dewbot evolved around here into a Hisuian Samurott, which is pretty cool since it's part Dark type, and then Ingo challenges us to a battle, and of course he has different Pokemon than the Pokemon he had in Unova. This is to help jog his memory a bit or something, I guess it helps him, and allows us to call upon Sneasler, who can carry us on his back and climb up these ledges. I love how your eyes sort of poke out of this little backpack on its back too, it's just so weird looking. Right before we reach the Electrode though, we have another battle against Melly who we dispatch rather quickly. Then we have a fight with Electrode, which is a bit weird since I was unable to dodge these electric balls it shot out. I was probably doing something wrong, but I have to say I really like Hisuian Electrode's design as well as Hisuian Voltorb. They resemble the old school Pokeballs and are part grass type, making them really fit in. I know some people don't really like them, and I guess it kind of messes up Voltorb's initial lore, how it's a possessed Pokeball or whatever, but I think they look cool, so I'll allow it. I then return to the Jubilite village as we cross the 12-hour mark, and have just one more noble Pokemon to face. When we report back to Kamada, we tell him about Melly's weird theory about how these weird bolts of lightning striking Pokemon is intended by the almighty Sinnoh, and we should allow them, but Kamada isn't so sure about this. Our next destination is the Alabaster Icelands, located all the way in the north of the Hisui region where modern-day Snowpoint City is. I just need to fill out our Pokedex a bit more, which causes us to pass the 13-hour mark. This time I catch a lot more Pokemon and do a lot more tasks along the way, but eventually learn we don't even need to get more stars, so this was rather pointless unless I want to do post-game stuff, which we'll talk about later. One character we meet in this frozen tundra is Garrick, I don't know if I'm saying that right, who must be freezing because he's not wearing a shirt, and doesn't seem to like us very much, although we're kinda used to these NPCs just not liking us by now. He challenges us to a battle, but gets type trained by Magmar, and then we head towards this mysterious Snowpoint temple and do some puzzles to get through it, to meet Sabi at the top. Luckily these Regi puzzles don't involve us reading Braille like some other Regi puzzles do, and at the top we fight Sabi in her Hisuian Braviary, which just looks so cool. Defeating her allows us to call upon a Braviary so we can fly across the region and into the area where Noble Avalugg is. I don't know if I mentioned that, but the reason why we're here is to fight an Avalugg. This thing is ginormous, and my trusty Rhydon helped out a lot here, although I did die in this battle a few times like I did in the Electrode fight. I was pretty spot on with the bombs though, and did the majority of the damage just by throwing bombs, calming down the Avalugg, which was the 5th and final Pokemon we had to calm down. This passes us through the 14-hour mark and I head back to the village. Things get a bit weird here as I was just starting to feel welcomed and liked by everyone, but then Kumada just turns on us and banishes us from the village. Commander Silene escorts us out of the village as she was the one who initially let us in the village, and she starts to feel a bit compassionate towards us. Even some of the random NPCs along the way seem to be compassionate towards us too, as opposed to the very start of the game where they all just wanted us to leave and die. The Diamond Clan and Pearl Clan can't risk taking us in though, because it'll start some sort of war or something. I don't really understand it. So Volo helps us seek refuge in the far corners of Hisui, where we meet somebody named Kogita who seems to know a bit more about the lore behind the region. Silene even feels so sorry for us that she lets us borrow her Abra in order to access our stored Pokemon, showing that we really grew on her even though she was one of the first people that wanted us to leave the village and die. Kogita then tells us about a way we could possibly put an end to all this craziness in the Hisui region, which involves visiting the 3 lakes and the 3-lake trio Pokemon and crafting a red chain, much like how you did in Diamond and Pearl. First, we go to Lake Verity, which has an Alpha Hisuian Gudra guarding it. I didn't even know this existed. And once defeating it, we speak to Mesprit, who asks us some questions, then gives us one of the 3 items needed to craft the red chain. On the next lake, we fight a Hisuian Zorok, which just looks so cool. It reminds me of the game Okami if you played it before. And pass Uxi's math test to get the second item needed. I was kind of confused here because for some reason I was thinking Combi had only 2 eyes, but it actually has 6 because it's just 3 Bs kind of glued together. We then go to the 3rd and final lake and fight a Hisuian Quillfish, which was actually teased in the Kanalave City Library in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl if you didn't know. Then Azelf appears and tasks us with throwing a Pokeball at it. I just keep missing. I'm pretty sure there's no way to actually land and you're just supposed to keep trying and eventually Azelf gives you the last item needed, which is exactly what happened. I then return to the village to try to tell our findings to Komada and just learn that he left the village and he is traveling to the top of Mount Coronet to stop all of this madness for himself once and for all. As we pass the 15-hour mark, Akari crafts the red chain for us, and we try to reach Komada before it's too late. On the way, Benny, yeah, that weird mochi guy with the green mustache, reveals he's a ninja and challenges us to a battle because he's Komada's right-hand man even though we barely saw them interact throughout the game and doesn't want us to stop him. I really didn't expect this at all, and the battle was pretty hard as I did faint a few times, but thanks to some revives, we defeat him and press on. Here we see an armored up Komada who challenged us to a battle, and after defeating him, he apologizes for doubting us, welcomes us back to the Galaxy team, and wants us to save the day again. The almighty Sinnoh then speaks to Irida through mind control or something, and out comes an angry Palkia from the rift. It's level 65, it was pretty easy to catch, and right when I thought the game was over and the credits were gonna roll, Dialga comes out from the rift behind Palkia, is really mad and yells, so we all just run away. We need a special Pokeball to tame this Dialga, and Leon helps us out with this. We have to collect this special oval stone, but the 3 Misfortune Sisters try to stop us from doing it. It turns out they really aren't evil or anything like that, they're just ex-Diamond Clan members who don't want to see anybody get hurt by that Dialga, but I think I might have misread something here or misinterpreted the dialogue. But we get the stuff back anyway, have Akari craft us a special Origin Ball that is kinda like a Master Ball it seems, and return to fight the Dialga. It then transforms into this weird form that kinda resembles Arceus a bit, and we have to throw bombs at it much like we did with the Noble Pokemon earlier. This fight was a bit easier than the last couple of fights though, and once we catch it, the sky returns to normal and the Diamond and Pearl clan realize there's actually 2 almighty Sinnohs in Dialga and Palkia, both of which are needed. Who would have guessed that? The credits then roll, we have a small festival to celebrate, and we beat the main story in about 16.5 hours, but still have 3.5 hours left on this journey. That isn't really enough time to do the whole post-game or anything like that, and I imagine doing the whole post-game and catching every single Pokemon to get the true ending, which I'm still not sure what that even is anyway, could take upwards to 100 hours, so I spend some time doing random things I want to do, like find this weird flying Gyarados, which isn't a glitch, there's just a flying Gyarados here, get some extra outfits, and mess around with Outbreaks a bit, but had some terrible luck trying to get a shiny Tangela. I heard Outbreaks were an easy way to find shiny Pokemon, and I also try farming a bit, but didn't realize I have to leave the Pokemon that I helped farm with the farmer, so my Rhydon, one of my best Pokemon, is just a farmer now. I then took some time to record bits I needed for my weird facts about Pokemon Legends Arceus video, which you can check out linked in the description by the way, and did some touch trades that I forgot to record to get some other starter Pokemon in our Pokedex, bringing us to just about 18.5 hours played. With such limited time left, I figure I should try to shiny hunt a bit since the Outbreak method is pretty simple to do in this game. I then remember that I don't really enjoy shiny hunting, so I just meet Volo and do some post-game tasks. I don't really know what to expect here, but we have to go get the last few plates for Arceus with the help of Volo, who definitely doesn't have an ulterior motive. First, we go back to the Fiery Island to catch Heatran and get the Iron Plate. I didn't realize we had to pick up some of these mud balls around it and throw it at it before we can then battle it, and I accidentally threw a Great Ball after realizing this, but still caught it without actually battling it. Next up, we have to fight Cresselia, who I assumed would have something similar to Heatran where we had to throw something at it, and we couldn't just battle it straight away. After dying about 3 times, since it inverts your controls here too, I just threw a Pokemon at it and it worked. We could just battle it right off the bat. This gives us the Dread Plate, then we go back to the Regi Temple to fight Regigigas. At this point of the game, I realize there's no abilities too, so I'm a bit scared of Slow Start. I don't know how I went this long without noticing that, but catching Regigigas wasn't too bad. This gives us the Blank Plate, a new normal type plate that didn't exist prior to this game. After that, we can then catch each of the Lake Trio Pokemon, but if you knock them out, you have to battle them all over again. Uxie and Azelf were pretty easy to catch, but this Mesprit was really stubborn and took quite a few attempts. I kept knocking it out or just running out of Pokeballs. We then report back to Kogita, who asks us to find 3 logs for her now. This seems simple enough, I don't really know why she wants logs, but this alone took like 15 minutes since logs are actually pretty rare and we passed the 19-hour mark, so we're cutting things pretty close. After finding the logs and giving them to Kogita, we get the Pixie Plate from her. She had it this whole time and just didn't give it to us. She mentions how she was using it as a cutting board. And then Volo reveals that he has the final plate needed and then goes Super Saiyan and tries to battle us on top of Mount Coronet. He wants all of the plates for himself so he can meet Arceus, and he has a team very similar to Cynthia's team in Diamond and Pearl, with a Hisuian Arcanine over Milotic being the only difference. The battle was very difficult because he has high level Pokemon and took many attempts for me. I eventually decide to just take out some of the legendary Pokemon we just caught for this fight to make it a bit easier, but they end up loafing around a bit because they're just barely out of my level range, being level 70, and only Pokemon at level 65 currently obey me. This took so many attempts, but we finally defeat Volo, and right when I think it's over, he summons Giratina out of nowhere. I was streaming this part of the game on Twitch, link in the description by the way, make sure to follow me over there, and chat told me that we can't catch this Giratina, we just have to defeat it. I thought this wouldn't be too bad because surely the game will heal me up after a very difficult Volo fight, right? Turns out the game doesn't heal us, we don't even have an opportunity to heal or save, so I send out my weakened Palkia, which just gets hit by a strong style move from Giratina and gets knocked out. In order to fight Giratina again, we also have to fight Volo again too. We're already a little bit over the 20-hour mark too, at roughly 20 hours and 40 minutes. So this unfortunately ends our journey with Volo and Giratina winning. I guess that means we got the bad ending for this, because technically Volo won. But overall, Pokemon Legends Arceus was a very fun game that has a ton to do. I definitely plan on playing this game more in my spare time and possibly on stream to properly finish the post game. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, consider leaving a like, as one like helps a ton, and subscribing for more Pokemon videos. With all that out of the way, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Hope you have a good rest of your day. I will see you all next time, and bye bye.